Nearly 3 months after the House Oversight Committee first moved to compel her testimony, former Attorney General Pam Bondi finally sat down with lawmakers yesterday to discuss DOJ's mishandling of the Epstein investigation. Well, there were no reports of her coming with that burn book like we saw in her last congressional hearing. Democrats on the committee say Bondi was not forthcoming and was even combative at times, especially when asked about Donald Trump, who she said she would not discuss. According to the Democrats, as well as a leaked copy of her opening statement obtained by MS Now, Bondi appeared to shift the blame to her deputy, now acting Attorney General Todd Blanche. She says she, quote, delegated oversight to Blanche for investigation and release of the files. And as we await the release of the transcripts to read for ourselves, it is worth noting that unlike a formal deposition, which Democrats pushed for, in this transcribed interview, Bondi was not sworn under oath nor videotaped. Joining us now is one of the Democratic members of the House Oversight Committee who was in the room with Pam Bondi, Congressman Suhas Subramanian of Virginia. Congressman, welcome. Take us inside the room. Give us some color there. Did we learn anything substantive?
Well, in the room, it's important to note that there was Pam Bondi, who was, combative and uncomfortable with the questions we were asking. But then she had chaperones around her. Chaperones paid for with taxpayer dollars. The Assistant Attorney General, the DOJ, other DOJ officials there to jump in whenever we asked questions, particularly about Donald Trump. And so this was kind of the dynamic. Was they were a lot of the Democratic questions were very pointed. They were about, what conversations did you have with the president? What was it like inside the administration? What did you have knowledge of? She didn't want to answer those, and the DOJ would jump in and say, don't answer that.
Now, it is standard for DOJ to have attorneys when former DOJ officials are inside the room, but you're saying that they were a little more active than is typical. Am I hearing that right?
They were not there to protect the DOJ. They were there to protect the president.
What's the difference
at this point?
At this question. Well, the DOJ is now the president's law firm. That's really how they're operating at this point. They've got his former personal attorney running it right now. She made several references to him, basically saying over and over again, ask Todd Blanche, right? So that was the theme of it, was that, she put the onus on Kash Patel and Todd Blanche over and over again, or she had a very fuzzy memory of stuff that happened very recently all of a sudden. And so those are the two themes of the way she was answering. I think we counted over 100 times where she said that she couldn't recall or she didn't know.
I have a fuzzy memory too, but I don't want nobody to know what I'm thinking.
Right.
The ask Todd Blanche question, right? Or her answer to that. You guys want to ask Todd Blanche. You want to ask Kash Patel, the FBI director. It sounds like you guys are going to be working on subpoenaing them to come in front of Congress, in front of your committee, and do the same thing that she did.
Yeah, absolutely. And, the way we got Pam Bondi in the first place was by Republicans making the motion. And so there's 4 or 5 Republicans over there on the Oversight Committee who have an axe to grind when it comes to this Epstein investigation. And so we're hoping that they'll join us again when it comes to Kash Patel and when it comes to other officials like Todd Blanche.
But sorry, I was just about to say, but James Comer, who leads your committee, where is he at on this?
Well, he's running for governor, and he wants Trump to endorse him, and so he's going to do whatever the Trump administration says, right? So that's the real. So even if we get a formal deposition, sworn deposition in the subpoena, and that is successful, just like with Pam Bondi, he's going to have them come in for a voluntary interview where they can decline to answer questions the way Pam Bondi did, and he's going to try to short circuit that entire process.
But I just want to. When you do these subpoenas in this committee, so you got the subpoena for Pam Bondi, you got the subpoena for some other folks who really needed to come before the committee. You also had to subpoena some folks who, made some folks uncomfortable, Democrats uncomfortable, such as the Clintons. So if you're going to subpoena Todd Blanche and Kash Patel, who are you going to have to go along with to get the Republicans to sign off on that subpoena? Who do the Republicans want to bring in that you're going to have to say yes to in order to get Blanche and Patel subpoenaed?
Well, we've already said yes to many Democrats. So in addition to the Clintons, there's Kathy Rumler, who was an attorney under President Obama. There's someone who is very close with the Clintons who got brought up while the Clintons were being questioned. There's a few other Democrats on the list. Not a lot of Democrats involved in this to begin with.
And so you're just trying to get...
For me, yeah, if someone is brought up, I don't care if they're a Democrat or Republican, let's bring him in, let's talk to them, right?
One thing Mary McCord said early in the show, in the 7 o'clock hour, because, it is, to my mind, the fact that Pam Bondi was there not under oath, to me, it seems problematic. But what Mary said was, because she's testifying before Congress, it's against the law to lie to Congress.
Yes, it's still against the law.
So at any point, do you feel that Pam Bondi lied to you?
If you think that saying that I don't know or I don't remember when she did remember and she did know is lying, then yes, I think she lied to us several times. If, she didn't say anything to us that was not true, though, in the sense that she worded her answers carefully. She's a lawyer, right? So, she was the Attorney General, and she prepared for a long time. She knew what we were going to ask, and the Republican questions, which was half the time, were probably fed to her because she's very comfortable during those times.
So for me, I want to always center this conversation, and you guys do a good job of this every weekend, around the survivors, right? They just want transparency and accountability. What did she say about the survivors in the room? I'm sure you guys asked her.
I asked her myself, and I asked her a couple questions. One, did you ever meet with the survivors? And she said she only met with a lawyer and then one random survivor that she referred to the FBI. And then I asked, why wouldn't she meet with the survivors? And she seemed to indicate that she didn't think it was appropriate to meet with them for some reason. I don't know why, but she felt that way. And then I asked her about all the requests the survivors have made. Like, can we get the witness statements that were from years ago? They haven't been in the files released. Can we get at least our own stuff? And she said she didn't even know about that request, even though it was made very public. The DOJ had to have known about that. She said she doesn't recall getting that request.
So let's drill down on that. And I don't know how much time we have left, maybe 90 seconds or so. The FBI witness statements, that's really the meat of all investigative material, right? That the main justice has, that the FBI has. Can you talk a little bit about why that is so important that why have y'all asked for that, and why are you so adamant about getting those FBI witness statements?
Yeah, I wanted the FBI witness statements. I also wanted the draft memos that the investigators were doing and the prosecutors were doing. Yeah. And it's important because those things were buried in order to protect Jeffrey Epstein ultimately, right? But those are the things that name names, that talk about the operation and all the results of the investigation. And what Pam Bondi was essentially saying was all that stuff is privileged. But the Epstein Transparency Act said that even if it's civilly privileged, you still have to turn it over to us. Right. And so she essentially admitted that she's violating that law. And so that's the justification for withholding all these really important documents, the stuff that we really wanted to see.
I want to shift a little bit because you are an oversight, so I imagine you guys will have questions about this too. Howard Lutnick, who's the Commerce Secretary, donated $5 million to House Republicans before Epstein testimony. It was last month, committee supporting House Republicans, unusually large contribution for a sitting cabinet secretary. Do you have concerns about a sitting cabinet secretary donating to House Republicans at the tune of $5 million?
Yeah, and with the timing, right before his testimony. And so it's hard not to, and when I think back now to his testimony and the questions Republicans were asking, they were giving him nothing but softballs, essentially. What's interesting was Pam Bondi, we asked her about, why was his picture in the Epstein files taken down? Remember, there was a picture of him on the island after he'd said he'd never been there, right? It got taken down for a couple of days and put back up. She said, we thought it was AI, so that's why we took it down. Can you believe that? Right. That was the kind of stuff she was telling us, and I can't wait for the transcript to come out.
When is it coming out?
Well, another thing is the DOJ wants to review it first, and so we'll get a DOJ scrubbed transcript. But we all were in there taking notes, so we'll be able to identify what they leave out.
Yeah, I predict the DOJ transcript might look like this.